Hi, my name is Tracy Chauvin. I'm going to be talking with you about the legal aspects of teacher evaluation. First, we're going to summarize some articles regarding teacher evaluation. Then we're going to look at the Shawnee Mission School District evaluation process. Last, we're going to talk about a current case. Teacher evaluation, an issue overview. Teacher evaluation is the formal process a school uses to review and rate a teacher's performance and effectiveness in the classroom. While governed by state laws, teacher evaluation systems are generally designed and operated at the district level. They traditionally rely on observations, student work samples, as well as teacher records and plans. In the early 2000s, teacher evaluation became a hot topic issue, largely credited to four main factors. Research on teacher quality. When looking at the data from the 1990s to 2000s, it was noted that student test scores consistently showed that some teachers helped their students learn significantly more than other teachers did. This led to advocacy efforts by groups and policymakers. Advocacy groups argued that quality control systems for teachers were ineffective, citing a 2009 report by TNTP that found many reviews are perfunctory and did not distinguish between skilled and low-performing teachers. Advocates also argued that in revamping teacher evaluation systems, this would act as a needs assessment and allow districts to tailor their supports. Policymakers saw this as an efficient way to remove teachers seen as ineffective. Philanthropic foundations began to incentivize overhauled teacher evaluation systems, which led to political pressure. Prodded by the incentives, states rushed to rewrite laws. As this was happening, each state continued to have variances on how they defined essential terms, such as effective. During this overhaul, some states began to tie this evaluation system to compensations, promotion, or even teacher dismissal. Looking at the new teacher evaluation systems, there are more objective measures in order for evaluations to be less biased, looking like a weighted system that includes test scores as well as observations. The National Education Association sees the potential for this, but continues to advocate their opposition of tying test scores to teacher evaluations. As of right now, there are no clear and consistent indicators to show that this new system of teacher evaluations is effective in boosting teacher performance. Let's look at the NEA brief, Every Student Succeeds Act. The Every Student Succeeds Act, ESSA, allows states to continue to define their own evaluation process. When states develop their long-term and short-term goals, they also need to look at trends affecting school performance, not just test scores. When developing their system, it needs to include evidence of student achievement, but also include multiple measures of educator success. ESSA also preserves bargaining laws, and this brief also included the NEA Evaluation and Accountability Toolkit, which gives examples and points to remember when implementing or modifying an evaluation system. Teacher evaluations head to court. This covered a variety of litigation surrounding this new process, challenging how the system was put into place, but also challenging related aspects such as the use of test scores universally. This means that teachers might be ranked on items that they don't teach. It also doesn't account for diversity, and we know that diversity in students has an effect on their engagement in test scores, which does not give a baseline fairness for all and might inherently penalize some teachers. Teachers are also heading to litigation regarding their tenure policies. Teachers vested prior to this law should be only terminated with a hearing, and also pay policies. Pay policies may contradict contracts already in place or collaborative bargaining agreements. When looking at the Shawnee Mission School District evaluation process, we also need to look at Kansas statutes. Kansas Statute 729003 states that local school boards must make written policies regarding personnel evaluation protocols. All evaluations must be in writing, and all related documents kept in a personnel file for a period of no less than 3 years. When looking at the evaluation timeline under this statute, your first and second year, you need one formal observation per semester, no later than the 60th day of the semester. In your third and fourth year, you need to be formally observed annually, no later than February 15th. In your fifth year and beyond, you need to be formally observed once every 3 years, no later than February 15th. Shawnee Mission School District uses the Keep 2 system now. This is the first year full implementation. The timeline for evaluation is the same as the Kansas statute unless you're on an intensive evaluation or an out-of-cycle evaluation due to performance. The KEEP 2 system looks at 4 components: student learning, instructional practice, content knowledge, professional responsibility. Within each component are subcategories from where teachers pick their focus area. When looking at how you are ranked, we use the KSDE Summative Evaluation Rating Matrix. Let's look at the next slide for more details on that. The final summative rating is made up of 2 components: your instructional practice protocol summary rating and student growth measures summary rating. When looking at student growth measures, you can use things like student work samples, state assessments, commercially purchased assessments, locally developed assessments. And looking at the instructional practice protocol summary rating, the student learning can be by differentiated lesson plans, student work samples, attendance. Content knowledge can be formative assessment data, student products, student self-assessment. Instructional practice, they're looking that you can demonstrate multiple effective strategies, that you have standards-based lesson plans, or summative assessment history. Your professional responsibility, action research, reflective journals, professional learning plans. Putting together the instructional practice protocol as well as the student growth measures gives you your final summative rating. On our next slide, we're going to look at what one of those rubrics looks like. On one of these rubrics, you are either developing, ineffective, met, not met, highly effective. Because this is the first year in the Shawnee Mission School District, there are no highly effectives being given. But you take your overall student growth rating, which are student work samples or student product samples, and then your IPP, and that put together combined equals your summative evaluation rating. The timeline for evaluation. The orientation needs to be within the first 10 duty days. Your self-assessment and goal development needs to happen within the first 15 days of the semester or school year. 1 to 3 goals must be developed. However, one must be mutually agreed upon by the evaluator. You also select your student growth measures and appropriate growth identified mutually by educator and evaluator. So you work together to do that during this time as well. Prior to your observation, you have a pre-observation meeting. That needs to be face-to-face for every formal observation. You then do your formal observation, have a post-observation conference, and then for every evaluation period, there must be 2 informal observations completed. And like talked about, your instructional practices protocol summary rating and your student performance summary rating equal your final summative rating. Then you do your final summative conference. In Shawnee Mission, there is no longer in the negotiated agreement a statement regarding disputes. There is a statement saying that professional evaluation is not a reason to file a grievance or to initiate the grievance procedure. Looking at a legal case, Melanie Lemon versus the Williamson County School District. Melanie Lemon has filed a lawsuit in the Williamson County Circuit Civil Court against the superintendent, Walnut Grove principal, the assistant superintendent, and the district itself, alleging wrongful termination, breach of contract, negligence of county employees, defamation, invasion of privacy, invasion of civil rights, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and negligent infliction of emotional distress. So let's start from the beginning. In 2017, there was an allegation of abuse. A parent complained that Lemon pushed a child's arm down or grabbed their wrist and said, "Stop it." The parent of the child whose hand she was holding said, "That's not child abuse." The police officer that was contacted said, "That's not child abuse." There was video. Video showed that there was no child abuse, according to Lemon's attorney. That wasn't the end of it. Lemon said the administration put cameras in her classroom, which they claim was a normal part of the supervision process. They also began notating when she arrived a few minutes late. Eventually, she said she was bullied into quitting. Lemons resigned at the end of May after 7 years teaching second grade at Walnut Grove Elementary. Now, she's suing for compensation. Lemon's lawsuit states, Melanie Lemon was bullied, stalked, intimidated, and defamed into a forced resignation. Her livelihood, career, and passion were stripped away from her in a painful, humiliating, and illegal manner. She alleged the 8 charges shown on the slide and sued for damages in June of 2018. The defendants also seen on the slide, responded in July, denying all charges. They also filed a motion to dismiss all charges. On October 12, 2018, after considering the motion to dismiss, Judge Joseph Woodruff dismissed charges 1, 3, 6, and 8, citing either lack of supporting evidence or misapplication of applicable law. Lemons now claims there is new evidence. Lemon and her attorney claim that new evidence will prove she was given intentionally low evaluation scores and an ongoing campaign to force her to resign. The initial complaint by Lemon submitted into evidence includes her general education observation forms, which rate teachers on an ascending scale of proficiency from 1 to 5, with 5 being the best. They are given each January. For the year of 2016, Lemon received mostly 4s and 2 3s. In 2017, the district gave her a score of 7 2s, some 3s, and no 4s or 5. Lemon had never previously received more than 1 2 on an evaluation in her 15 years as a teacher. In response to Lemon's first complaint and the evaluation scores, the school district brief denied that the purpose of these scores was bullying and harassment. These scores were reflective of Lemon's performance and an accurate assessment. Newly submitted evidence claims to show that 4 low evaluation scores given to Lemon were raised after she announced her intention to resign on May 13th. Her lawyer also writes that as part of an effort at systemic termination began in the spring of 2017, timing Lemon when she was 3 minutes 52 seconds late, timing her arrival for 30 days when there was no history of a tardy issue, stating she was insubordinate when using the door by her classroom when other teachers routinely use the door, and claiming ready to roll on written discipline, which was never given, and writing she needs to either get in line or get on another bus. Thereafter, they started to follow Miss Lemon around, documenting her every move. On November 2nd, Judge Joseph Woodruff dismissed the school employee negligence claim and other claims. Lemon can still submit an amended complaint for review. The other charges, breach of contract, defamation, invasion of privacy, are all up for review at a future court date. As of right now, there's no decision made in this case. When thinking about what this means as a future school leader or a future educational leader, I know that I need continued awareness. I need to make sure that I'm current on state laws, regulations, and statutes. I need to access my resources, such as our Human Resources Office and our in-house legal counsel. I also need an in-depth understanding of the district process, using our handbooks, our manuals, specifically those Keep 2 handbooks, all of the training manuals that HR has given us. Going to my mentor, making sure that I'm going to those mentor principals, to our elementary, secondary, the coordinators, to ask any questions, to make sure that I'm doing things correctly, to ensure that I'm providing a safe, secure experience for the staff that I'm supervising. Also using human resources again, and NEA. The NEA reps in our buildings are highly qualified, very, very well versed in the contract, the negotiated agreement, and all the implications. I also think that I need to utilize my own personal attributes and assets. I am really, really effective in timely open communication. I ensure that people are getting frequent feedback that is relevant and pertinent to what they are doing and what we are working on. I also am really open to flexible, creative ideas, thinking outside the box. Being a social worker in the Keep 2 evaluation system, I really have had to make the system work for me versus trying to conform to the system. And I think that that is a great strength going forward in supervising others. Thank you for reviewing the legal aspects of teacher evaluation with me.